an entrepreneur at heart, and we're a very different breed. Our minds work differently, and Bruce, you kind of fit into this, and Paul, I don't know you well enough yet, but you likely do as well. And the entrepreneurial mindset, entrepreneur is a French word. It's taken from the word entreprendre, which means to undertake. So in essence, if you really would translate it directly, it means an undertaker, but not the mortician type. It means one who undertakes a lot of everything, right? And one of the challenges we have is what we'll do is we'll take on every project because nobody can do it better. And what you realize is that's a fallacy. And the truth of the matter is, if you can get out of that mindset, as Robert Kiyosaki says, and give yourself a promotion to business owner rather than business operator, it changes everything. And what are the mindset shift here is to recognize, there's value in having other people step up and help you. And it's hard sometimes to imagine who can really help me. Come on, who's going to be at my level? Well, maybe not anybody, or maybe a lot of people. And you'll never know until you try, right? So one of the things I really like about the entrepreneurial mindset is that when we run into obstacles, it starts our blood going, right? It's what juices us, it's what drives us, because we have to find a way through it, over it, around it, right? And under it. We have to find that way. And, you can learn a lot from that mindset when you run into things in life, rather than saying, well, I'm depressed, I got this, I got that. Okay, great. We all get depressed. I get depressed. Bruce gets depressed. Paul gets depressed. We all do, right? The difference is, how do you get out of it? What do you do? What are the tools, the strategies you have to get out of that depression, right? It's a challenge. But it's not impossible. It's not an insurmountable challenge. And some people will turn to substance abuse, and that's just the easy way out, if you will. It's a little bit like, it's not really a direct comparison, so I won't use it. But if you're using the drugs, the food, the sugar, whatever it is, to mask the feeling, you're not dealing with the feeling, right, Bruce?
Absolutely, and that's one of the battles that we face every single day, is trying to get those feelings under control and not to respond to stuff and not react to it. There's the things that I like to use, when I feel down, when things, don't seem right, I'm just off, right? Because it's not like when you choose this path of personal development, you want to stay positive. It's not like everything's all of a sudden puppy dogs and rainbows just because you think it is. Things
we
go
just
wrong.
lost half our viewers, Bruce. That's it. They wanted it to be perfect.
Well, here's the thing. I'm not here to impress, man. I make it plain. What is real growth take in your life? Because a lot of people, they have these false impressions or false perceptions of what they need to do for growth. But whenever I get down, depressed, it's a magic bullet. It's a silver bullet. It works every single time. Is write them down with a piece of paper. What are you grateful for? If you get into that gratitude mindset, the depression goes away in a heartbeat. Because you might be having a bad day, but somebody else is probably having way worse. And a quick personal story to kind of highlight that. When we recently moved from Florida to Missouri, driving my RV, we were on the super narrow country road the GPS took us on. No shoulder. The line was there, 6 inches, you're in a ditch. And trucks are just whizzing by. And so I'm white knuckling the thing, trying to keep it inside my lane. Natalie's behind me. Anyway, this truck comes this way, and all of a sudden, bam! His mirror clipped my mirror, hit the mirror into the glass, exploded the glass all over me, all over the inside of the RV. It was like a bomb just went off. So like, oh man, I'm having a bad day. But as we got cleaned up and moved on, we were about an hour and a half away from our destination. I was seeing big black puffs of smoke in the sky. I said, oh, there's something that's going on over there. And it turns out, long story short, we sat on the highway for almost an hour before we moved. When we finally got by where the smoke was, somebody else, it was an RV that had a trailer that was burnt to a crisp. Everything in it was just gone, just up in flames. So I was thinking, I'm having a bad day. I got my window exploded. Somebody else lost everything.
Paul, what's your strategy for getting out of that?
What I have, yeah.
What's your strategy for getting out of depression?
Made service to others. I try to make as many meetings as possible. That's the one benefit of me working my shift from 3:30 to midnight is I get to go to a meeting every day on noon.
Mm-hmm.
And I got I write a lot of the quotes on the whiteboard, because I'll be on Telegram and like I said, I fill my stuff up with all positive stuff. So there's a few chats or channels that I go on Telegram, and I'll find like a lot of affirmations and positive quotes that help fill up my cup, right? And I put them on the board, and it's today's Bagel Friday, the first Friday of the month. There's a decent bagel place, Robert,
Oh,
in South
wow.
Carolina,
That is
right?
amazing.
They're from South Jersey,
Look, there's
but
no
they're
there's no
pretty
bagel
decent.
like a New York bagel. This is what we're trying to
It,
understand here.
yeah, it is it's close. It's real close, but it's not right a New York bagel. So I bring that in every Friday. The first Friday of the month is my contribution, right? So I'll bring in the bagels. So it's stuff like that fills my cup up, and like Bruce said, it's the stuff like that. You think you have it bad. You hear some of the stories from people in there, and it's like you understand why they got into use in the first place. It's just trying to help them that they're knowing that to let them know they're not alone. I
Right.
think that's the biggest thing it is people feel like they're alone and they can't talk to anyone, and that's what you know I like to go in there because you see miracles every day when that light finally clicks and realize so that's what gets me out of depression.
I have a different strategy, and it's different for everyone how you play that game. But you've got to find a strategy for yourself to get out of depression. So I'm a little bit more pragmatic, as you guys know. It's sort of my personality. So I'll start to ask questions like, okay, how did I get here? What did I contribute to the situation? It's easy to say, oh, it's somebody else's fault. But the reality is, no matter what, you're involved. Right? So if somebody else did you wrong or whatever, it's like, okay, what did I do? Oh, you know what? I didn't vet them properly, or I let them in too close, or, there's always something. There's always a lesson. And I always go for that. I said, what's the lesson here that I can learn? And then when you start to learn that lesson, when you figure out what that lesson is, then you can start to take steps forward to get out of it. For me, being in action helps a lot. So doing something, it could be simple as I got to clean my desk. I got 5 computers on my desk, guys. 5, it's like maybe I can clean some up, or maybe I can, clean off the keyboards once in a while, or maybe clean out the garage or go for a walk, or you got to change. Tony always talks about motion affects emotion, right? And the reality is, if you want to change how you feel, change how you move. So when you're feeling crappy, you're feeling depressed, going for a walk is a good thing. A lot of people go to the gym. Some people love going for a run. Whatever it is. I'm certainly not a runner, and I don't enjoy going to the gym, as you can tell. But I do enjoy going for walks and getting in motion, getting back into the game is the quickest way for me to turn it around. Now, it doesn't mean it's like I'm depressed. Okay, I'm back now. No, it's a process, right? And you just have to be patient with it, because sometimes feeling those emotions are critical to our growth. And you say, I never want to feel depressed again. Well, you don't want the human experience? No, you know what? Or you can go to a psychologist and you can get some of those drugs, those SSRI drugs. Can't feel anything, happy or sad. You're just mute, That's another way. And that's what happens a lot of times. You'll find that in our society. But there are a lot of ways for you to get out of it, and you got to find it. Some people, it's music, right? Somebody will pick up a guitar and start playing, and their passion comes up and they start feeling good. But remember the gap, right? So depression, happiness. There's a gap here. You're not going to go from depression to happiness in one step. You got to step it up. So sometimes depression, the next level up is what? It could be anger. It could be frustration. You might say, oh, come on, that's better than depression? It is. It's one step up the emotional scale. And then you keep going until you get to, that happy place again. But it's a process. It's not a quick solution.
Absolutely, it's a process for sure. And the thing is we cannot repress, we cannot push down those emotions. Those are all part. We have to experience those and be able to use them for our advantage instead of dwelling. There's a 90-second rule or a 60-second rule or 5-minute rule. You feel this emotion, whatever it is, you cry it out. You do a punching bag, something. Whatever it is you need to do to release that energy and that from that emotion for just 5 minutes, and then you learn your lesson, and you can move on. Don't dwell in it, and people get stuck in that stuff.
They really do.
And it's going to be a perpetual loop
Yep.
that just a miserable type of existence, and you can break out of it. It's easier to say than it is to do. I know that because I live it, and I'm trying to grow through it myself. But there's processes and the strategies. You mentioned that before. There's tons and tons and tons. Everybody and their brother's got some strategy, some fix, something you can do to change whatever it is, X, Y, Z. But until those strategies don't mean anything, until you get to the place where that strategy can be adapted into your life. There's a process in that to be able to use that strategy. You got to deal with your own state of mind. You got to deal with the story, what's going on in your head. What are you talking to your self-talk? I mean, we're just kind of shotgunning, approach this type of stuff. But it's there's tools out there, and everybody has to. Not one thing. What works for me may not work for Paul. May not work for Robert. What works for Robert, we do vice versa. But we can listen and find some good people that you can sound things off of, and you can get stuff off your chest, whatever it is. Those relationships are as important as well. You can't be just hold yourself off away from society.
Joey G says, it's hard to go for a walk here in the desert. Joey G, my dad, we lived in Montreal. He would go for a walk every single day, even in the middle of the winter. You know what he would do? He'd go to the shopping mall and just walk up and down the mall. It's air conditioned, it's heated in the winter. It's great, and he would just walk up and down the mall and then, at some point buy himself a little something to eat, and then he'd come home. So there are ways, if you really want to do something like that, you can certainly do it. I'm not saying it's ideal. I'm not saying it's easy, but if you really want to change your environment, sometimes that's what really works for me, is just changing the environment. Get out of the office. If that's where I'm stressed, go somewhere else. I can go to a coffee shop and sit down there with my laptop or my iPad or something, and just enjoy seeing other people. People watching for me is always fun. I always enjoy doing that.
Yeah, just go to Walmart. I mean, that's.
Oh no. You
don't even have to shop there; just walk around. But it's all about becoming. What came to mind is adaptability, right? We got to become adaptable, right? Because that's one thing I love about the recovery room is that it's many pathways, right? So it's whatever works for you, and we're there to support it, right?
Absolutely.
My internet was unstable. So I must have froze a little bit,
but not too bad.
Okay.
Yeah. So Paul, one of the things you do find is you were right about never wanting to be alone. It's very, very difficult, and we all in our society today. It's really fascinating because we today have more ways to communicate than at any time in human history, and yet the amount of loneliness in this country is the highest it's ever been. I'm connected with Bruce. I'm connected with Bruce right here, right?
We're all over the place.
Yeah.
You're in California. Bruce is in Missouri, right? And I'm in South Carolina. We're as far away from each other as possible, and we're sitting here talking.
Yeah.
So
and
you never are alone. It's just reaching out for the help,
well, it's
right?
not, Paul. It's not the same as being in person. So we have these tools. We have FaceTime on our phones. We have WhatsApp. We have Facebook Live. We have all these tools. Many, many, many tools. Why are we so lonely? Because what we're lacking is the face-to-face. You cannot replace that energy of being face-to-face. We try to, and all this artificial way of doing it, but it's just not doing it.
You are right, because we have every Wednesday we have a speaker meeting, and the in-person is so much better than a Zoom speaker. So you're absolutely correct on that. Yeah, it's that interaction, that vibration you get from that person.
We got that, Bruce, at the Truth Tours, right? People, when they showed up in person, we streamed a lot of them. I think we streamed most everyone. There's very few that didn't get streamed, but it's just not the same. You're just not connected with people. But when you're there in person and you can shake a hand, get a hug, whatever, it's like, what a difference. And the energy in the room is so much higher than when you're, these virtual events. So I'm attending this virtual event. It's nice, but I don't feel connected to it. It's just faces on a screen. Very different if I were in that room with them.
Absolutely. Yeah. And when you talked about the truth and the connection, not to sound too woo-woo, but we all have these we're all frequency, right? Vibration. We have this aura, electromagnetic field, if you will, that's approximately 3 feet around us. But when we get together, that thing exponentially grows so it not only does your aura or your energy increase, my energy increases as well, and we feed off of that for sure. And that's real science.
Sidebar here, Master Baggy says, Buck and I hugged in Spring Hill, Tennessee, and there was lightning.
What?
I think
We got a bromance going on there.
Well, I think because Bruce was on the 1 and 2s, he had that good vibe going. So
yeah, it was.
Yeah, I did meet Baggy in the Truth Tour in Tennessee.
Yeah, and what a difference, right? Because you see him in
Yeah.
the chat room all the time, and I've never met him in person, but I've talked to him, and we've done Zoom calls, and he's been on the show, and he'll be on the show again, and it's just not the same. I don't know him because I haven't seen him face to face yet.
Yeah. Nope, and like even Bruce, we met a few times. He had to have some of my pastries, so.
The cannolis are good. The cannolis are good.
Pastries made with love.
Wasn't it Joey G with the cannolis?
What only bring in a few.
Who has the cannolis in the chat room? Is it Joey G with the cannolis, or was it you, Buckshot?
Yeah, he's the coffee and cannoli guy. Yeah.
Always comes back to food.
It always comes back to food. Food is what bonds us, and it's always been that. Yeah, certainly. I always encourage people, like, if you can meet somebody in person, like Mitch Axelrod, good friend of mine, have been friends for 10, 15 years now. Every time he goes up to Carlsbad, which is north of where he is, and Carlsbad south of where I am. He's like, calls me up and says, "Hey, you want to meet for lunch?" And I'm like, "Yeah." Anytime we have an opportunity to do it, when I can, I get down there, and it's so much better. We sit for a couple hours and have a great conversation, and it's just very different, than talking on the phone or FaceTiming or certainly texting. Guys, you want to keep your relationships intact. If you have a disagreement with your significant other, do not try to solve it on text.
No.
It'll make it a lot worse.
And another thing too, you talked about the loneliness. I mean, a lot of these, air quote relationships on social media, they're very, very superficial. So getting that real deep, intellectual connection, spiritual connection with people in person is way better, and not as superficial as social media. Most of social media is junk and garbage anyway. It's not going to really help you out. But
most of social media is
that's where we
filters.
make a living, right?
Most of social media is filters.
Yeah.
Or you see people on their social media on a Facebook profile, and it's like, when was that picture taken? That doesn't look anything like you in person.
I mean, now AI stuff. I mean, I've been messing around with some AI stuff. The videos that I can create of me, it's insane. The voiceovers, I can make myself say anything. So there's that. That's why it's so important to be connected to God, Creator, universe, whatever you want to call it, to be able to have some intuition and be able to discern, what can be true, what's real or not, within your own, personal reality.
Do we get to a point, guys, where social media becomes less a big part of our life and we get back to face-to-face human connection again?
I would love that. But I don't know that that's any short-term or potential in the future, reality. Things seem to be going further away from personal connection, in-person stuff than it's going towards.
Yeah, because now most of the days, right, almost everyone texts. Nobody really calls anymore. You get a text happy birthday instead of, "Oh, hello, how you been? Happy birthday," So it's hopefully things will change, but like Bruce said, it's I don't see it going that way, hopefully, but it changes.
I
think also too, it's up to us, right? We can force them to choose to go in that direction, in our own personal lives.
Yeah, that's what I was just going to say, Bruce. We have the potential to do it. And one of the things that when I first met Lewis, one of the things that I was on the Truth Tour #1, and I was on the second stop that they'd ever done, and I was a participant at that point. I just paid, and we were in the event. And one of the things that I saw, he mentioned, I think he mentioned it from stage even. He said, "What I really have a vision for is that you guys will take this idea and start creating your own mini Truth Tour meetings locally." And because everyone wanted to get together, everyone in that room wanted to get together. Again, it's like when it was over. I think the first truth tour that I went to, I think it was almost 10 hours. That stop. It just kept the speaker after speaker after speaker. Nobody wanted to leave. Nobody wanted to leave that room. And it's like, and you get that again and again. Like, so Bruce, you're 100% on point. Why don't we start setting up our own local meetings and meet? And Paul, it seems like you're already doing that in some way.
Yeah, there's only like one or two people that are in awareness of what's going on, like that are, that watch JQ and stuff like that. So, but I try to stay away from the most part because they think I'm nuts, right? I talk about the chemtrails and I talk about some of the other things, and it's yeah. So I don't bring it up too much in there.
One of the keys is to build a group of people that are like-minded. And those are the ones that you'll get the most value out of. And it's not because you're right, Paul. If you go into a group and you feel that you're censored and you can't speak your mind and you're afraid they're not going to like what you're saying and that kind of thing, wrong group, right?
Yeah.
Go to the next room and find the next group and find the next group, or create the group. And I think a lot of us are doing that. I'm working right now to create a new mastermind group because, not because of any other reason than I know the power of the same group of people meeting every single week for an entire year. I've done it many times. I've hosted many mastermind groups, and I could see how powerful it is. I mean, people's lives literally transform, and there's so much help and networking, and there's so many benefits to it. Better in person, but this one will be virtual. But if you could do it in person, even better. Bruce, you're a good leader.
There's a term they use in the room that's the opposite of addiction is connection. So. Like I said, that's why a lot of meetings help people, because it is that connection,
Well, we get in trouble when we're alone. The human body is, the human person is not made to be alone. The idea, and I hate this. Hillary Clinton took it. It takes a village. It really is true. We have to be community. And I don't like the word community because that was Barack Obama's thing, and I hated that he's a community leader. And it's like, oh God, really? They got the good words. They spoiled them all. We got to take them back. But it's true. It's like it does take a community, and there's no way you can do this in a vacuum. Every one of the speakers that are on this virtual event that I'm participating in, every one of them will say the same thing. They didn't get there alone. They didn't. And you're not going to get to where you need to be alone. You always have to be surrounded by a lot of people. And, the challenge that we have is that we're surrounded by people, especially the entrepreneurial crowd. We're surrounded by people who don't get us because we think way outside the box to the point where it doesn't make any sense to them. And what they can do is they can plant those seeds of negativity or doubt, and those things grow. May not mean anything to you today, but it's going to stay there in the back of your mind. And as you start moving forward, hitting more and more obstacles, you might go, you know what? Maybe they're right. Maybe I'm not good at this. So you need people around you who continually motivate, continually inspire, and who may or may not have a vested interest in your success, but darn are committed to it, right? You make a good team leader, Bruce.
Team leader?
Team leader.
What team leader? What makes you say such a thing?
Your personality. You reached out when I was in Anaheim. I was walking down the stairs. You were walking up the stairs, and you just stopped cold turkey and introduced yourself. You knew who I was. I'm like, wow, that really stood out to me. It's like I knew you were an upstanding person when I first met you back in Vegas, but when I saw that, I go, this guy's for real. And it just so impressed me, right? And not everyone can do that. A lot of, there are other speakers there who knew me, didn't say anything, just walked by. Hi, little head nod or whatever. I'm like, it's very different when you take that extra step, and that's who you are. And I see that in you often.
And it's super simple. I mean, it's the easy way.
Yeah.
To be nice and compassion, you sowing and reaping, all of those universal laws and biblical things. There's the candidate for governor trying to call me.
Decoder is saying, that's why we're lonely. They're all asleep. I've been a 55 plus community, and they're not only asleep, they're dead, LOL. They think I'm batshit crazy. We run into that, right? We do. And so the answer has to be that we either find a group that is, thinking the way we think and or we align with, or we create one. Believe me, there are a
Right.
lot of people. We get this comment, Bruce. You and I know from the Truth Tour. We get this all the time. I'm alone. Nobody agrees with me. I can't find a group. Right?
Absolutely. And you mentioned, I just went blank. Oh, the person in the chat saying the people around him in his community seem dead, right? And well, you know why that happens most of the time? More times than not, it's because people have lost, some passion in their life. They're not dreaming anymore. They're not, wanting to do. They turn into zombies or NPCs, non-player characters, because they just lose their passion, for whatever reason. Could be external circumstances, internal thinking, which is mostly internal thinking most of the time. But yeah, they lose their passion and they don't have no purpose that drives them. And that's why it's so important to have a big, just be delusional with with the way, what you think, what you want to accomplish, have a good reason why and passion. And that's going to drive and chase away a lot of that stuff, the negativity, the depression. That's going to drive that stuff away as well.
My dad retired, I think he was 68, and he no longer had any goal. Nothing. There's no reason to live. And he would say things like, I'll be dead in 2 years. 2 years later, massive heart attack, dead. Right? And it's really powerful. Paul, I'm sure that some of the teachings that you guys do in your group is you've got to find a goal. You've got to have something that's dragging you forward. Something you're working towards. Sure. And oftentimes it's a goal that's not about yourself. It can be a goal, and oftentimes these are stronger, that you want to help somebody else or you want to be part of the bigger solution.
Yeah. I mean, because like you said, you got old timers there that did the whole retirement thing and then got bored with life and they started drinking, right? Yeah. So they're in there to give their testimony that would help somebody that's, trying to get their life straightened out. So it's always good to have short-term goals, right? You always want, like me, I want I'm still got goals that might be unattainable, like a 6-pack, not a beer, right? 6-pack, right? That's it might be an unattainable goal, but I'm still something I'm trying to, I still have that as a goal, right? But still, I still got goals that are obviously that are attainable. That I want, just like we were talking earlier about, just saying hello to somebody or giving them a hug or giving them a compliment. It's free. I mean, I might not like it, I might not like somebody's hair, but I'll still give them a compliment because there's a woman in the gym that I go to. She a mohawk, right? Like old punk rock, like straight. I mean, it's cool looking. I give her a compliment. Hey, nice hair. But somebody probably, how many people would give a woman who has a punk rock, just a spiked hair strip, a compliment? Not many. I still thought it was good though, because it was blue. I like blue. It's my favorite color.
We'll do more for other people than we'll ever do for ourselves. So if you're struggling to find a goal, oftentimes parents find that they're going to do more for their kids than they would do for themselves. They'd work harder to get that achievement, whatever that achievement is, for their kids than they will for themselves. So if you are not finding the motivation within yourself, look outside yourself and say, what do I want to change? What do I want to impact? And, we have this opportunity with Lewis running for governor, right? A lot of people are stepping up and saying, wow. And you're seeing in the volunteer crew, you're seeing them, they're just opening up and they're coming to life. Why? Because they're doing something that's bigger than, doing something for somebody else that's bigger than they would do for themselves. You're not going to do it for yourself oftentimes. You're going to be like, you know what? I really didn't want that goal anyway. But it's when it's for somebody else. And the other thing that's really powerful is you really want somebody who can nag you in your life. You go, wait a minute, no, I want that. But you really want somebody who's going to nag you, who's going to keep you on point, right? Hey, Bruce, how's that project coming along you're talking about? Oh, shut up. Come on, you're going to do it. Come on, Bruce, right? You really want that.
We do. And it's, there is certain ways, to do it and that is effective, more effective than other ways. Sometimes, my wife, sometimes the way she'll make a comment towards me, wanting to spur me on, thinking to motivate me. And it's just, honestly, sometimes I get a little angry. I was like, just leave me the fuck alone, I'm going to do it. Just leave me alone.
I'm going to do it. You don't have to remind me every 6 months.
That's my problem, right? That's my problem in the way that I'm getting the meaning of what she's saying to it, right?
Right.
It's not
I think
anything
it's
that she's saying. I'm choosing to be like, I get all angry because I know inside me that I should be doing the stuff that she's telling me to do, and I'm not doing it anyway. So yeah, I'm gonna get more pissed at myself. So I mean, this is just real life personal development, man. Every day is a battle.
Every day is learning, right? Learn. Yeah.
If you ain't learning, you ain't growing.
That's right. There is no, and people look and they say, well, when does the learning stop? When your pulse stops.
Absolutely, yeah.
That's kind of it, right? So you're always learning. I hated learning in high school. I think it was the worst possible. I could not wait to get out of high school, so I wouldn't learn anything more. And what I figured out after high school, when I got into college, all of a sudden I exploded and loved everything. And it's like, what's the difference? Well, guess what? In college, I got to pick what I wanted to learn. Interest. That's the difference, right? And so when I went into university in Plattsburgh, New York, I chose to do only the courses that I wanted to do. I didn't take the nonsense that I didn't want their degree anyway. I just took the courses. I was paying for it. I've taken the classes I want to take, and I excelled in all of them. I got 110 in one class, for gosh sakes, you know what I mean? Because I was doing things I was passionate about. And it's up to us really to find that rather than letting other people dictate. Because if you don't design your life, somebody's going to design it for you, and they're going to design it in such a way that it benefits them.
Yep.
And I think that's where it comes back where Bruce said you get burnt out after you retire because you were doing somebody else's job that you weren't passionate about.
Correct. Yeah.
Right? If you love the job, you wouldn't quit or retire from it.
Somebody asked me a couple of weeks ago if I was going to take a vacation. I just looked at them and I said, what's the meaning of that word?
Yeah. Retirement is that word for me. Retirement.
I don't know either. I don't know that one either. And the reality is, it's like I don't need a vacation from the life I've set up for myself because I enjoy it so much. Right? I'm not looking to run away from it. I'm not looking. I'll take a break. I'll go. Take a day and go to the zoo or something like that. That's fun. But I don't need to be away for 2 weeks, 3 weeks. I love what I do so much. I love the people I serve. I love the people who are watching here and the people in the chat room. All of you guys. I see your names all the time. I wish I could see your faces. I keep promising we're going to do a Zoom call so I can see your faces. So maybe, Bruce, we probably need to set that up and get that done.
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah.
No, I started because, like we were talking about earlier alone, I actually started a We Not Me Zoom from people in the chat that come in on Saturdays at 2:00. It is posted on their web, on the Rumble, on YouTube, because like we were talking about earlier, we felt alone, so I felt obligated. Let me get a Zoom going for us to go on. So every Saturday at 2:00, I open up the Zoom, and you don't have to be on camera.
Okay, where do they get the link from, Paul? Where do they get the link?
I could put it in the chat, but anybody can come in as long as you're respectful, and you do get some talk over, obviously, because we do have a lot of people in there sometimes. But it's great community that we can just get all our shit out and just talk about whatever the heck you want to talk about.
Okay, put it in.
And we all collaborate.
Paul, put it in the comments of the video because it'll stay afterwards. Most of our views come after the fact, not necessarily the live views. Most of the views, about 80% of them, come after they watch the replay. So if you put it in the comments, then people will have it. And on Bruce's channel, my channel, and we're both on. Both of us are on YouTube. I'm also streaming on Twitch today and X. So we've got a lot of streaming going on today.
Yeah.
Yep.
I've been on one or two of those Zooms, and they're a lot of fun.
Cool. Yeah, it needs to be done, and I encourage anyone who's listening to this, whether you're watching the replay or watching us live, think about doing that. If you have that skill, that gift of being able to host like that, and Paul, it's not hard to host, right? The conversation kind of goes.
I pretty much open it up at 2:00, and there'd be days where I open it up, and I usually hand off the host to B. Perry, Bob, who's usually in the chat. And we usually just hand it off if I have to be out because, you do have to have somebody that can
hosting,
kick somebody out. If we've only had really one person that kind of acted stupid, but for the most part, it's everyone that has been in the chat. So we're all we're a lovely community. We got a beautiful soul tribe. And You come in and hang out and come and go as you please. It's not hard at all.
Awesome. Yeah, that's needed. And like I encourage people to do that. I think that is what's needed. Zoom is a powerful tool, and you figure how much is it? It's $15 a month. If you want to invite people to the Zoom call, let them pay you $5 a month or whatever, and you make a little bit of money, but so cover the costs, and certainly have to cover your time to manage it and host it. It's important to do that. Bruce, what other gems of wisdom? I got tons of them. What gems of wisdom would you like to share with us?
Well, I mean, just the continuance of wanting to growth. I mean, you have to start with that dream, that reason why, that's something that's going to drive you to do these things when you don't want to do them. Finding a system that works for you. I've been working a lot on systems myself, because I tend to have way too many irons in the fire. One of the high drive type persons. And sometimes I feel like I'm spinning plates. So I'm working on some systems to be able to, have small wins, because we tend to want, see a bigger picture, have a big goal. And then if we don't immediately attain that, we tend to do this negative self-talk.
Okay,
and we talk ourselves out of it.
Who here is watching today would like to assist Bruce? Would be Bruce's assistant. Bruce could use a little help. He's got a lot of ideas. He's got a lot of plates spinning. Maybe he needs help with web development. Maybe you're good with high level and can help him put pages together. Maybe you're good with graphics. Maybe you're good with copy. Maybe you're good with just looking at his stuff and giving him some positive feedback and saying, hey, this is great. Here's what can be improved, right? So if you want to help Bruce out, Bruce at brucepoppy.com. Bruce is very kind, and he certainly gives away a lot of his time. I'm sure he'll take care of you in one way or another. Either give you some of his time, or maybe a T-shirt, something like that. There certainly is something in it for you as well. But yeah, the idea is not to be alone. And you say, well, I don't really want to help anyone. I don't want to be a volunteer. It really helps you. And Paul, you know this because you're volunteering your time. You're going to these meetings, you're leading these meetings, and you know how good it feels to help somebody else.
Let's just say I never left a meeting. Nope. And didn't feel good about myself or about, and it's, I am an addict, right? So why not be addicted to good stuff that makes me feel good? Different make me feel good, right? Not a substance to make me feel good. This is natural substance. You go there, you get the dopamine kick, and it works. You talked about the gym, Robert. I hate the gym, but I still drag my butt in there every morning because it is good. It helps with get on that right mindset.
Yeah,
to start the day.
Yeah.
But I still hate it.
There are some days I come to do the shows and I'm dragging and just not feeling great. Body's not functioning the way it should. Sometimes just not feel like doing it. And then when the show is done, my energy, my passion's like through the roof. If you look at the marathon we did on Saturday, Dr. Layla reached out and said, how do you guys do that for 9.5 hours? They said, the reality is I'm stronger after 9.5 hours than I am at the beginning. Wow, that doesn't make any sense. Yeah, it does. It does. Right? Bruce, you feel the same, right? The longer it goes, the more motivated, more excited you get.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And, after those big, long marathon things we do, it takes me 3-4 hours to eat sometimes to even, come calm myself down to where I can go to sleep. Because, sometimes we go to 9-10 o'clock at night, Eastern. And then I'm up till 1, 2, sometimes 3 o'clock in the morning because my mind is just zim. So you got to have that downtime to be able to unwind. So I learned early on in my development and many years ago, probably not a great idea to listen to a bunch of motivational shorts, videos, tapes, music, or whatever right before you go to bed, because then you're all jacked up and you can't go to sleep.
Yep. I feel that way when I watch some of these videos too. I got to go do that. I got to go do that now. I want to do that now. So I've got the seminar on one screen and I'm doing the work on the other screen right away. Yeah, no, it is. And you got to find that thing that gets your juices flowing. And I encourage people to find it in, I don't know what I'm good at. I don't know what my passion is. I don't know. Yeah, you do. Sure you do. Just think back. What gets you excited, right? One of the passions that our buddy Lewis has is fishing. He doesn't talk about it, but oh my God, when he can get a fishing rod in his hand, he is so happy, right?
Or
That's one of the
snorkeling.
things.
He's a snorkeling freak.
He's a snorkeling freak, right? There's things, but we all have these things. For me, I love skeet shooting, right? I don't get to do that often. When I love skeet shooting. I don't know why. It's just so much fun for me, right? That kind of thing. There's so much, and of course you'll always see me with a camera. Always, we'll have a camera because photography is my thing. It's my passion, right? And Bruce, I know for you, you've got a bunch of passions as well. It's just like you're always going to see Bruce with his hands on something, and not necessarily his wife, but on something. He's building something. He's taking something apart. He's repairing something, right?
But you nailed it exactly right. I'm a fixer. I'm a doer.
Yeah.
I love just working on stuff. Making things better. With my hands, it keeps my mind right, and then I habit stack too, right? So when I'm fidgeting, I got this RV that we live in. It's a 10-year-old RV. There's some deferred maintenance things I got to work on. So I enjoy doing that. It's just a huge passion of mine. And then I'll put on the earphones, and then some motivational stuff. I'll listen to an audio book, or I'll listen to some YouTube thing. I came across yesterday Jim Rohn. Many people know Jim Rohn. He's an old school OG guy. That was Tony Robbins' first mentor, and he had a fantastic video. Just kind of was a confirmation to me that I needed to hear that at that time. That made me know, hey, I'm on the right path, and I'm continuing to push and do the things that I want to do.
Yeah, Paul, what do you do? What's your passion?
My passion is just the pretty much the meetings. That's why I and putting the quotes on the board, like I said earlier. Because that's what lightens my day up. To help somebody, help the next person. The hardest thing I do reach out to people. I got about on my phone about 15 or so people that I send quotes to every day. I send them a quote early in the morning, and then whatever the quotes that I put up on the board, I send them. And these are all people that I met in recovery rooms that can't always make the meetings. So they'd be like, "Can you send me to them?" So that's my passion, is to give them a quote every morning to start that, kind of like the sunrise videos I send.
Mm-hmm.
I don't post any of the I don't post any of the stuff that's going on in this world. There's enough distractions, information overload. Let me put some and that's my passion, is to brighten up somebody's day.
So would your passion be even more intense if instead of sending 15 quotes to 15 people a day, it was 1,500, 15,000, 15 million?
Yeah, I think my real passion would be to work with kids and help kids.
There you go. There you go. That's what I was looking for. Good.
Because that's where it is, right? It always comes down to the children.
Yep.
That's our future, and that's why it's important to protect them.
So are you working with children right now, Paul?
Not at the moment. Just my daughter. She's only 15, but I just haven't had the time to really work with the kids. But one day, I hope.
Well, I think you need to make that happen. If it truly is a passion for you, it's really here's how I think about it. When I first started, I didn't think I was going to be a coach. No desire. I went through the Tony Robbins training, the first one, Unleash the Power Within, back in 1995. 2 weeks after the event, they get a knock on the door, 11 o'clock at night. It's a buddy of mine, and he had walked into his house and found his wife in their bed with another man. He had a gun in the car, and he says, "I'm going to go kill them both, and I'm going to kill myself." And all of a sudden, it was like, not on my watch, you're not. So I brought him in, and I coached him. It took over 2 hours for me to calm him down. And what was really interesting at that time is that doing that coaching, the words coming out of my mouth were not mine. They were the perfect words, but they weren't mine. And I could really feel myself kind of like being beside that conversation. And it was happening, and it was the right words at the right time. And, nothing happened. He divorced her and, got on with his life, and it wasn't easy. He had some rough times through that, sure. But at that time, I was like, so I didn't know what just happened there. I didn't know. But I knew that, wow, if I've got this gift, one thing that I recognize, and this is for you, Paul, how many people are suffering out there that I could be helping? And I haven't put myself out there to do that. And that just it just blew my circuits. I was like, holy shit, I've got to do this. And it became the thing that really motivated me to say. So I'm going to say that to you. I'm going to ask you, how many kids are suffering today because you're not finding the time to help them? Being that, it's not a job for you. It's your passion. So how could you make that sort of a priority in your world?
Hey.
Even if it's once a month, right?
Yeah.
Dogs just try to kill each other.
No, good question. I mean, you put me on the spot now.
Well, I am a coach after all, right? So this is
on.
what I do. So yeah.
Yep. Something I have to work on.
No, it's something you have to commit to, right? So it's not the work. The work is the how-to, and the how-to is always the smaller part. It's the what and the why, and that's the bigger part. So you got the what, you understand the what. Now we got to figure out what the why is, and the why is the juice, the power that gets you to take the action to put this in play.
Yeah.
So, think about that, put that in your cap and think, okay, are there groups that are already existing, something I don't have to create from scratch? Could I show up periodically, once a month, once every few months, whenever, and start getting in touch with that passion, if that's truly passionate within you, right?
Yep.
You're a gem for society, and you have to recognize that when you look in the mirror. You go, yeah, I've had some challenges, I've had some addictions, I've had some issues with that. There were mitigating circumstances. You understand all of that. But you're beyond that now. And now you say, okay, what are my gifts? What am I really good at? And how can I share these gifts with other people? And I could see it in you. It's, you love being with people. You love helping them. It's like, so now 15 people is great. 1,500 is better. 15,000 is better. 15 million is even better. How do we get you to more exposure to more people? Because the world needs you. I mean, let's face it. The world needs you right now more than ever. Right?
Truth.
True.
Appreciate that. Yeah, I know. I don't know what to say.
Well, you're all heart. You lead with the heart. And, like we've been talking about, there are a lot of lonely people out there. They're getting themselves in trouble in ways they shouldn't be. And they need more of us out there helping out. So, the question you need to answer for yourself is, okay, how can I do that? How can I be in more places at once? How can I help more people? Right? Bruce and I do it through these shows, and we'll do more of these shows. Guys, by the way, if you're liking this stuff, please let us know, because we're thinking about whether or not this should be a regular show that we do, sort of on a motivational topic rather than just news and that kind of thing. So let us know about that. But Paul, for you, it's, you've got what it takes. And we need you. We need you out there.
Thank you.
Feel it. Feel into it. It's okay.
All right.
Okay. No.
All right.
It's like Bruce, jump in, right?
I'm just enjoying the show.
Thank you, Bruce, for not saying anything.
No, it's sometimes that first step is the hardest one.
It is.
When I this is a huge change, and it may or may not correlate, but when I went from working 50, 60 hours a week, collecting a paycheck, and then I decided in 2004, through some circumstances that were way beyond my control, I ended up forced into a full-time lifestyle commission only as a realtor after losing my job, in that previous career after 25 years. So that was, quite a big jump. And Natalie, my wife, was, super. We had 4 kids. And so we were going from that secure paycheck into, commission. If I don't perform, then we don't eat. That put a lot of pressure on me. But taking that first step and getting that first deal, and then just boom, things started to flow. And and you already had one of the main things that really shifted a lot of things for me is several years ago when I made a decision, I'm going to serve others rather than serving myself.
Bingo. Yep.
Man, it seemed like the yellow brick road. Everything I touched turned to gold. You know, there was doors that were opening that weren't there before, and yeah, of course, sometimes I have to get a little shoulder in, a little body check to get the door open. But whatever, because I wanted what was behind that door, I was willing to do whatever it took. And serving others was just it's been magic. It's and it's a lot of fun. So you already have that. Just take that step. Find something. I know there's something that's already brewing inside you. You're just tearing to let loose.
And you're getting suggestions in the chat room on the Renegade Media channel too that I'm watching. So
it's a group therapy session.
Places you can look. Well, you know what it is that when we find somebody who's got the qualities that Paul's got, and I don't mean to embarrass you, Paul, it's coming from a loving space, not a pushing space. When we find somebody who's got that, we really want to get behind them and encourage them, right? Because of the benefit to society as a whole. So he goes out and he goes, wow, they really pushed me to go do this kid thing. I guess I better go do it. And he finds a place, a high school, elementary school, whatever, where he could sit with and work with these kids. Now he impacts how many lives? And because those lives are positively impacted, how many lives will they impact, right? It's like dropping that stone in the water and it ripples and ripples and ripples. So we want to get behind you, Paul. We want to support you in whatever direction you decide. We're not going to push you and say, hey, go after the kids. There's something there. There may be a little hesitation, there may be a little fear, maybe you don't feel like you're quite enough yet, but we want to be there for you and encourage you to make that happen, if that's really what your goal is.
Right. I mean, right now, like everything is going great in my life. Like I haven't gotten any. It's probably because I am like go to the meetings, right? So everything has been flowing into place. It's probably that maybe I'm worried about it disrupting that piece, because I am on that good flow, but I do know that there is a place called that I could probably talk to about talking to high school kids. 'Cause that's one of the guys that used to come into the room does now. He talks to high school kids. It's called Rise, Rize. So I could get into it. It's just right now, like I am on that good flow, and I'm not ready to like rock the boat, even though I probably would do good. But still, it's like that fear, right? We talked about earlier.
Yeah. Well, the fear is what keeps us held back, right? So Bruce mentioned it. It's false evidence appearing real, and the fear is, hey, I'm going to rock the boat. I'm going to mess things up. But the reality is, if you look at you and what you've shared with us today, you've said, my passion, my joy, my juices really run when I'm helping others. Correct? Your words.
Yes.
Right? So how can you see helping high school kids disrupt the flow? What do you see could happen there?
No, you put me on the spot.
I see nothing. Bruce, do you see anything?
No, but I was just thinking as you were saying that is timing too is everything, and there's good. What popped into my head when Paul was talking about that was good is the enemy of best, right? A lot of times we can get into that flow state. Everything's good. We don't want to rock the boat. You're just kind of wait. You're maybe some things have happened in your past, and this is just not about Paul, but everybody like myself included. Things in your past, we're just waiting for that other shoe to drop. Hey, this stuff's going too good, man. I'm not supposed to have a good life or something. Get this negative self-talk creeps in. You're like just waiting for some bad shit to happen. And it's sometimes that little bit of change doesn't is that first step is the hardest one, because you don't want to rock that boat.
Well, I think that may be the issue is, Paul, maybe all you do is take one step forward and say, you know what, I'm going to talk to one group one time. And then you feel into it and see how it feels. And they're just raving here. They're like, support for Paulie all through the chat room. So yeah, we see a lot of that. There's a lot of love coming your way, my friend.
The kind of way, I mean, it's kind of like a roller coaster, right? The first time you're afraid to go on it, but once you're on it and you had a good time,
yeah,
you can't get off it, right?
Yep.
I mean, different perspective, right?
Yeah, the first time me push and record, to do a live stream when I've never done it before, or to make a video that I'm going to put out there to the whole world. That's or even walking up on the stage and on the truth tours, I think the biggest crowd we had that I spoke to in person was close to 1,000. Was that San Diego
San
event?
Diego event, yeah.
And so that the first time on that stage, it's a little scary. But working your way into it, just start talking, start moving. That's the key in everything. It's easier to steer a moving car than it is a parked one. Right. So it's sometimes the first step is just a movement, making some movement, doing something. And this, I'm speaking to myself when I'm talking about this, better instead of thinking about it. And it's better to take that step because it's easier to course correct. And, who knows what's going to happen? You never know. We always tend to think of all the bad shit that could go wrong. But, what if everything goes right? What if, what all up on the positive side? This is changing our self-talk, changing that story that's inside of us. And that all comes from working at it. It's just not going to make one decision. Everything's going to be puppy dogs and rainbows. That would be great. I would love that. But changing and doing something different. Sometimes it's scary. Sometimes it's ugly. It's dirty. It's messy. But more times than not, I have had experience in my life that the change that I was fearing ended up being the perfect thing that I could ever have done.
Yep. Well, we are trained by our media, by our advertising, by everything to look at everything that could go wrong. You either buy this home mortgage insurance or your house is going to burn down. You're going to lose everything, right? It's always looking at like that. And that's the way we're trained from very young. We're trained about, don't ride that bike on the middle street. You're going to get run over by a car. How often does that really happen? You know what I mean? But that's the way we're trained to think. So it's breaking out of that mold, breaking out of that thinking and saying, what could go right? What about this could go right? And if you focus more of your energy, more your focus there, the energy is going to flow in that direction. And you're going to feel like, boy, why did I wait so long to do this? I got to go out and do this now. This is really what I want, right?
Yep.
Retrain. I didn't mean to put you on the spot, Paul. I just, just.
Nope, that's okay. I'm just not used to being put. That's why probably I'm not used to the public speaking in front of people because I hate being in. Not that I don't like being put in the spotlight. I guess because it's like I'm more like to rather be behind, it just blend in.
Well, that's not true because you reached out to be on the show, right? That's what you wanted to do. You wanted to come on here. So there is a part of you, and I could be wrong about this, but there's a part of you that really does want to be out there and helping people in a bigger way. And to do that, I knew when I was, coaching people one-on-one, I knew at one point I needed to get out in front of the audiences, and I could not speak in front of anybody. 2 people in the room, and words didn't come out, right? So I went to a Tony Robbins event, and Becky his wife at the time was there, and she asked me what I wanted, and I said I really need to overcome my fear of public speaking. If I'm going to move forward in my career, this is what I knew I needed to do. So I ended up in the green room, and long story short, I ended up on stage with Tony Robbins in front of 1,900 people, and was the fear there? It was like lightning. It was so strong, the fear, and I don't even remember what we talked about. I don't remember anything. I just know they handed me a microphone and I'm on stage in front of 1,900 people. And when they started applauding is when my life changed, because I felt this wave of love. And I really walked off that stage saying, I could do this. Didn't know how, didn't know what the direction was going to be, but I could do it. Right. And so there's a part of you, I could be wrong about this, but there's a part of you that's really knows that this is the next step phase for you, is to step out into the spotlight a little bit more. Although you're saying no, you're saying no probably because it's a little bit scary. You haven't done it, but you're doing an excellent job here, by the way. Not just good, excellent. We're going to have you back on the show. You're doing so good. And I don't invite everybody back, by the way. Yeah.
All right.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. So, if that's part of it and you need some assistance in there, we've got a lot of support here in this group. So just let us know what we can do to help you.
All right.
You get in front of more people, reach out. So instead of you're impacting 15 lives every day. That's fantastic. But there's a lot more than 15 out there who need you. Let's do it. Let's figure it out.
That's true.
Yeah.
I don't know what we're talking about, but okay. Yeah.
It's actually that's a fear a lot of people have. Like, what am I going to talk about? What am I going to talk about? What am I going to talk about? I have over my speaking career a guy who's blended in with the walls in high school and was considered like paint because they never saw me. I've gotten to a point where you give me a topic, you give me a microphone and put me on stage and I'll talk. And you say, well, how in the world do you do that with no script, no preparation, no nothing? It's like you come from the heart, right? So in my seminars, I always ask people, who has a fear of public speaking here? There's always a hand that's going to go up, right? Always a handful. So then I'll hand them a microphone and I'll say, I know you have fear of public speaking and you're going to speak in front of this crowd right now. Tell me about the last vacation you took you really enjoyed. Can't shut them up. Why? Because they're coming from the heart. Now, they didn't teach us that in high school, right? Yeah. So you, coming from the heart, you have all the information, all the knowledge. You bathe yourself in positivity. You're going through Pinterest, you're going through Instagram, you're finding all these wonderful quotes. You're living this. You don't need preparation, right?
This thing always gets in my way.
It's it does for all of us. And that's the thing is like, you got to make the other people more important than that thing. So how do you get over your fear of public speaking? You stop worrying about you and you turn the spotlight off of you and put it back on the audience because they're more important than you are. You say, I'm here to serve you. And that's why I'm here. That's why I can do this, because I don't think about me. Is my hair right? I don't really care. It's like, I'm here to serve the people who are watching. That's it. And that makes it easier for me because then I'm very much, like you mentioned earlier, Paul, in the giving mode. Giving is what it's all about. The more you give, the more you'll get back tenfold what you give.
Absolutely.
Okay? So you let us know what we need to do to support you so you can get out of your head and onto stage.
Okay.
Right? Bruce and I are here. We'll do whatever we need to do to help you do that because we know that you have a golden gift here that probably needs to be shared with a lot more people. Hey guys in the chat room, if you agree, let me know. You agree that Paul maybe should be out there with those gifts a little bit more? Let us know.
A huge shout out. Let's come together. We get some healing vibes to Lunar Sunray's husband. Just got out home from the hospital. Had 4 quadruple bypass.
Oh,
so send some healing vibes out to Lunar Sunray. We're with you.
Absolutely,
we are. Yep. You see the love just coming out of this. It's such a good conversation. This is so different than doing just talking about the news and talking about all those horrible things that are going on out there.
All day, every day.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I'm driving to Florida tomorrow.
Oh. Going back home?
Just for
then again, your RV is your home.
I got some. Yeah. Well, I'm leaving my RV here. We're taking the car, going down there. I got to bring some stuff back, maybe in a trailer, my storage down there, and then I got some dental work I got to get fixed up. So yeah, I'll be in Florida for the next few days. We're leaving tomorrow.
Awesome.
Safe travels.
Awesome.
Yes, always.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that carrot cake that you make might be worth me going a little bit out of my way to come and see you.
Oh.
I don't know.
I you know what? I would make it.
Paul, what do you want to leave us with today?
I made it last month for the room. It's funny too because what about a few weeks ago the ladies were like, you can't make anything, you can't bring any bagels, we're all on a diet here, blah 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 blah, but you can bring your carrot cake.
It's vegetables. That's okay.
That's everybody says that they'll only cheat for my carrot cake.
Paul, what message do you want to leave for the audience with today? What words of wisdom you want to share with them?
Well, words of wisdom. I would just say, forget about the bullshit. Keep your high vibes up. Keep listening to Bruce and Robert. Listen to my people that are being positive in the world. I don't know. I'm kind of at a loss for words at the moment. But all I can say is I love you all. Thanks for showing up and listen to our chat tonight.
See, it's so much better when you come from the heart, isn't it? So much easier, right? I love all of you guys. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. I love all the support, right? That's coming out of the heart. And you could see it in you when you started trying to remember stuff versus when you shifted and came from the heart. It was like so much better. Right?
Yeah, that's why, because let's just say my job title is I'm a network analyst, right?
Mm-hmm.
So and of course I don't know if people are into horoscopes, but I'm an Aquarius. So between right, Bruce, Aquarius, and my job, I'm always overthinking, and it's probably the worst thing. So that's one of the things I've learned is to not over it, but it's still hard. It's still, like we talked about, it's a bad habit to break.
I know.
But I'm trying, and that's all, and I'm learning to not try to overthink so much, but it's still a habit that still comes from time to time.
I'd like you to take charge in your Zoom group too, and host it, and really be a host, and then bring people on one by one and have them communicate and talk. And you know what I mean? That'll help you.
Well, I usually direct them, like when somebody like over talks, like, all right, well, you were saying something when they finish, right?
It's like herding cats. It's like herding cats.
Yeah. Because there's any time between 8. I mean, we've had 8 to 17, great number, but it fluctuates because, like I said, we started at 2. It goes on to whoever wants to stay on. You can come and go. You don't have to stay on camera.
So, Paul, let me give you an idea. Let me give you a little tip here that'll help you a lot. Have everybody come in muted. So set it up in Zoom. When they come in, they're muted. Have them stay muted, and for the first 10 minutes, I want you to just do a monologue.
By myself?
By yourself to the group, right? Because it'll help you, number one, because these people are not going to judge you, right? It's very easy to do that. That'll help you have the confidence to be on more stages. So only 10 minutes, as a speaker, 10 minutes is like, whoop, it's gone. Bruce and I will say, what, I've been speaking for an hour already? How'd that happen? It just goes so quickly. So just 10 minutes, little monologue, something positive, something uplifting.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And then open up for the conversation. And you will actually, feel a lot better about yourself. It'll feel a lot more fulfilling when you're able to give, because that's giving love to that audience. You have to prepare for it. You have to think about what you're going to say, right? And they'll respond in kind. I guarantee it.
Okay.
Cool.
This guy's got it. Bruce, what do you want to leave us with today?
It's the little things that mean a lot. We want to tend to change eat the whole elephant in one bite, and just making, being just a tiny fraction of a percent better tomorrow than I am today. That's my goal every single day, is being a little bit better every single day. Over days, weeks, months, years, that compounds, and it's like drops of water in a bucket. Initially, you don't know what's going on, you don't see the results, but then you built something. But before you know it, boom, just one brick at a time, one positive thing, one great action, one step towards your dream or goal that you want to have. And that's my daily life, trying to stay in that zone.
Fabulous. Somebody in the chat room said they want to hear Pauly quotes.
That's what they call me at the recovery center, Pauly quotes.
Right.
Love it.
Do Pauly quotes for your first 10-minute monologue, and then you can expound on them. I do that too. I have little cards and things that I pull out, things I just hang on to, and I'm like, hey, I could do something here. So one quote here says, "Abundance flows when we love what we're doing." I can do a whole seminar on that. That's all I need. I need one quote, and I can do a whole freaking seminar on it, right? Here's another one. If things aren't working out, ask yourself, in what way am I creating this, right? Taking responsibility. I don't want to take responsibility. Great power and responsibility, because if you created it, guess what? You can uncreate it, or you can create something better. In what way can I change? What's the lesson that I can learn from this? Another one, be courageous about undertaking an activity that you've been avoiding. One act of courage can eliminate all that fear. I think that's speaking to you there, Paul. No worries.
Thanks.
You'll have it
no
done.
No worries.
So, yeah, I would encourage people who are, if you look at yourself in the mirror and you have fear, and at the same time you have this passion that you want to do something, but the fear is really holding you back, you got to face that fear at some point. right? I did with the public speaking, and look at what I'm doing today. People think, oh, you're a good speaker. Well, how did I get here? I still don't know how I got here exactly. But I know I conquered the fear in that one moment, being on that stage, conquered it for me. And now I can do this. And, it would be very disappointing if I were to go through life with this gift and not be able to share it. Right? I'd be very frustrated. Bruce and I will say it. We the more we speak, the longer we stay on, the better we feel. It's why. It's because we're living our passion. This is our dream. This is what we love to do, and we love to serve. And this is in service to the people who watch and people who enjoy us.
On top of that, I'm a narcissist.
You're a narcissist. you just want the attention, do you?
I'm an attention whore.
All right. I have a homework assignment for our audience. If you're watching live or on the replay,
I love homework.
I would love to have your feedback on. Not necessarily. We didn't have a great format today. We didn't really discuss what the format would be, so we kind of went in different directions and stuff. But generally speaking, is this kind of content resonant for you? Because if it is, then Bruce and I may decide, hey, we're going to do this once a week, maybe every Friday, or, pick a day that we'll do it. We can do a show where we're more motivational / inspirational. And of course, we're going to have Paul back again and again and again, because people are loving you, Paul. So if you can do that for us, that would be really helpful.
What is not to love with Buckshot?
I know.
I mean, I'll tell you what, there's been many times. His little quotes, his little things he puts in the Telegram group is just what I needed to see. The beautiful scenery, just to take the break from all the other BS that's flowing through there. It's always uplifting. I have to say that publicly. I don't know, that it has helped me personally seeing Paul's stuff, and it's a great buffer or break from everything else. So don't change, Paul.
I won't. Thank you, awesome. Bruce.
Getting a couple of yeses in the chat room. They want to see it. They want to see more of us. Okay,
do it
good.
The right way if we're going to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Paul, thank you so much for being here. Lots of love to you, my friend. I really appreciate having you on the show today.
Thanks, Robert. Bruce, thank you.
Bruce, as always, lots of love to you. You are always a treat to be with and hang out with, and it's always fun to do these shows. And I will be back, Monday. I'll be doing the Movement Show, which I know the graphics say that here, but not really what the show is, but I didn't have time to make new graphics, so we're just using what we had. So Monday I'll be back with the Movement Show. Next Thursday, we'll have another Thursday Throwdown, and we'll have some great guests there as well. Boy, those conversations go in many different directions. Yesterday with Matt was just a whole lot of fun. Yeah,
you're missing out. Yeah, check them out.
Yep, absolutely. And you can watch it on Unpopular Viewpoint. You can watch it on Renegade Media. And we also publish on YouTube. And, for right now, YouTube has been okay. We don't curse and we don't use foul language. And I don't know. We talked a lot about vaccines yesterday, though. But I haven't had any strikes yet.
We were good until right there. That
was the word, the V word. No good.
God bless America.
Thank you all. Appreciate everyone. Have a great weekend. Lots of love to all of you. We'll see you back here Monday.
Bye.